Strikes upon the hour and the sun begins to fade. Still enough time to figure out how to chase my blues away. I've done alright up till now. It's the light of day that shows me how. And when the night falls, my loneliness gone. Oh, dance with somebody.
This domain
I wanna feel the heat with somebody.
is now
Dance with somebody.
online.
With somebody who loves me. Oh, dance with
Yes, sir! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. And I mean it to every single one of you who is right now gracing us with their presence. On today, Wednesday, out of all of the days, we got ourselves a Benelux Ascend Series banger. And that's a tournament for everybody to be tuning into, because tonight is all about the closed qualifiers. Right now,
Domain,
as we
bang,
speak,
bang.
I'm Domain, and this domain is now online. With me, I've got none other but Unfazed joining us as we speak. How are we doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me back. And yeah, man, closed qualifiers. It's going to be spicy. We got big names. I mean, this is basically the backbone of BAS as it stands. So yeah, I'm excited. I want to see what's going on. You know, I want to see what the peak's like. You know, so I'm stoked, bro. I'm stoked.
And brother, so excited that apparently these guys are even more, because they've gotten through this draft in a split second. Did you see that? Did you see that, guys? As soon as I switched
In a flash.
Just in a flash. In a flash, all done, good to go. As we speak, we are now ready to get ourselves into the first game. And the first game is all about just a quick overbrief. If you haven't, of course, checked out any of the announcements, I will give you the brunt of it. We got ourselves 4 games today. This is a closed qualifiers, the best teams from 2025 in today's entire day will be fighting each other. That's currently Mind Blue Esports versus Soul's Heart Esports. That's who's playing against each other in this first game. Best of 1. We got 4 best of 1s, and all of them will be happening tonight, with 15 minutes intervals in between these games. I'm Domain once again on the play-by-play. I'm Phased on the colorcast, and we are literally minutes away from this first game. Unfazed, what do we think so far of this draft?
Man, I mean, it's pretty. I don't know. I don't want to say like overly typical mid lane matchup so far. I mean, control mage standard stuff, but it does look as though both teams have gone for pretty aggressive playstyles. MB definitely have the harder engage this game, I'd say, with the Olav and Braum. But I mean, Soul's Hearts do have good counter engage with Diana ult. The scat of the week can really set back and engage. So yeah, no, I think both teams have thought this draft out. Again, early days. It's quick fire, best of ones. So yeah, it's all on the line.
It is, definitely. And it's so important. Now, they're going to be doing these every Wednesday, every Friday. So it's so important that these teams in these best of ones really do come out with their best guns blazing. And I guess there's going to be a lot of Lucians coming about with these slinger shots left and right, because that's all it's about, right? Dud jocks out of the way, and let's get ourselves into this first game, because it's a banger, and it's so important that not only us, that we are prepared as much as we can be, but also these two teams. We have Soul's Heart Esports on the blue side, and then we've got Mind Blue Esports on the red side. Once again, a best of one, and explosive is what it is. I'm seeing an Olaf into a jungle Diana. We've got a Gnar. This Syndra is going to have the worst time into something like an Olaf. How can you even let that have any sort of a time? Syndra's going to have a very difficult time. I'm thinking it's very important to just get rid of him, right? If you're an Olaf, realistically, you're building off tank. That doesn't mean you're very much the hardest one to kill, but at the same time, there's going to have to be a lot of focus coming out onto that one champion.
100%. I mean, Mind Blue definitely have a funnel strat in place. They've sacrificed going for an AD carry bot lane. Seraphine sort of assisting with that all-in with the Olav. So win con for MB is 100% Olav. If Olav falls behind, it's going to be hard to jumpstart the comp, but of course they've got the fallback Viego in place. Viego ult, notorious for carrying. Orianna balls in. But I mean, again, Soul's Heart, they've got tricks that they can, use. If Olaf doesn't get ahead and they don't have that forward momentum combo, I mean, Soul's Heart can dictate if they get objectives early with the Diana ult. They've got the Varus ult that can pin people down. Chains really well with Diana. Even Gnar can be a bit of a bully. But again, if Olaf gets ahead, the no CC is going to really test their comp. Given that they love the back to front, they don't want to have the Syndra collapse. They don't want Varus collapsed. Karma can't peel an Olaf. The shield is just going to have to kite it out. So yeah, I think the team who gets ahead will really, really benefit. And I think MB definitely need Olaf to power spike this game.
They're going to need it. They're going to need it. There's so
100.
much more. And there's a lot of carry potential from every single champion. We've got the Braum, we've got the Karma. Those are realistically the ones that want their carries to perform as much as they can, and therefore they will be the enablers. The enablers in such a feisty, such a quick and fierce game as we speak. I'm just pressing the reconnect button a couple of times here. Nothing's happening as of yet, so I'm hoping my League of Legends client hasn't just spaghettied code out of here on a Wednesday, and we'll eventually come around to it. I promise. And
all good, mate. More of us. We can keep it going, mate. It's all good.
Yeah, no, 100%. And if anything, we can always go down to I've got a backup scene just in case. And with that, in the top lane at least, so it's going to be very important for this Gnar to do what Gnar does best. He does do a lot of kiting into this Olaf, but you got to be careful with that level 1 pickaxe in your face.
100%, man. Gnar is a fiend. And I mean, a range top abuser, but a fantastic melee hard engage. He does a little bit of everything. And of course, in the right hands, can 1v9 a game. Usually seen with a good comp. Gnar is definitely an issue in most games, but I mean, if he doesn't get even or ahead, sometimes he can feel a little bit weak, especially when he's relying on himself to be the hard engage. But, the Varus ult can set up the Gnar, the Diana ult can set up the Gnar, so they've definitely got options there. If I had to put a little bit of money on the comp, I'd say Mind Blue maybe just ahead on the draft, given that they've got a more streamlined comp, because, the synergies, Gnar and Diana, it's not really ticking boxes in my mind, whereas Olav, Braum, and Viego have got that crush all in. So I think they've got a bit more of a unilateral comp. But yeah, I mean, Soul's Heart. And this is the best thing about BO1, the surprises can come out. They could have tricks up their sleeves that they will never recover from. The BO1 will be done, and they'll just be scratching heads. So, I mean, this is a thinker's game. So,
De
yeah, I
RM
mean,
qui va
both comps
arriver
100%
à
work.
un
And,
moment
I mean,
avec
Karma's
Select
shield
Tanker
is
into
work for
Malmortius. C'est
Most
une
certainly, brother, most
possibilité.
certainly. And I appreciate you so much
Oui,
for
là, ça
allowing me. You can
suffirait, ça
see
dépend.
my face is all over. I'm looking at this screen, I'm looking at that screen. I'm typing there, I'm typing there. My boy unfazed. Absolutely unfazed about the entire situation. I can't say the same about
100%.
myself. So that's what we love to see. We are just, I am watching another live, of course, the official on the French side of things, and they are yet to enter the game themselves. So there's a light on this horizon, and it's looking quite positive. It's just a matter of me reconnecting. So we've got more time actually breaking down this entire draft as well. From a scaling perspective, of course, yes, you do have the ADCs that usually do best when it comes to scaling, but there is one missing, isn't there? We've got a Seraphine Braum down in the bot lane, and therefore it's all about that zoning, that CC, and lots of splash damage. Can we pair that up with something like the Orianna Shockwave, something that the Viego will provide as a DPS realistically, but he needs to get up close and personal. And I don't know if a Karma and a Syndra is really going to allow him to do that.
Yeah, I mean, with this engage, they've got so much kite out. You know, you've got Orianna Ball, which is like the Shockwave, which is an enormous engage. They've got the Viego Stun, which is enormous engage. Olaf, say no more, okay? We've all been terrorized by one in solo queue. The issue is getting in range. Karma's so good at creating gaps, and of course, they've got the Syndra pushback, they've got the Varus ult, they've got the Gnar slow with Q. I mean, there's loads of little things that can create issues for MB's hard engage, and I mean that will impact the game 100%. So like I said, I think the engage advantage is for sure with Mind Blue, but again, Soul's Heart have so much peel. But I'm scared of Olaf, man. I mean, if Olaf gets big gold, I mean, I'm pretty sure things are going to start to die. I'm not going to lie. So, yeah, fingers crossed that if Olaf gets ahead, Soul's Heart have got a little plan tucked away, because that is a brutal late pick for Mind Blue, and it will definitely hurt the comp of Soul's Heart if they haven't anticipated that pick for sure.
And so it should. It's got so much potential. But with that said, let's get ourselves right into this game. We are going to be piggybacking off of none other but our French official broadcast, sorry, and therefore it may be difficult when it comes to the sound itself. There will be no sound for this game, but at least we get to watch the game unfazed, and we get to absolutely cast it the way that it should be.
Hey, will be the sound. Don't panic, guys. Yeah, this will definitely be watchable. All good. We will be the sound. But yeah, I mean, jumping in, it looks as though things are pretty typically early game, right? Nothing really shown up, but Olaf farming really well into Gnar. I like that.
Yeah. And now it's going to be, of course, a lot of already discussions around this top lane, whether this Olaf is going to be able to find its mark into this mid to late game, or will they find the Olaf and shut him down? The junglers are starting on opposite sides, and it looks like the Olaf does find a pickaxe. However, a nice little disengage. The next one does miss in the end, so Sardonon is not going to be able to run into the Gnar, and that's the beauty of this matchup, right? Because you've always got that double hop. If you find a minion, you imagine if you could bounce off of the axe, that would be absolutely amazing, but he's going to force a flash in the end.
Man, impressive stuff. And I mean, that's scary. I definitely don't want my Gnar to be flashless into Olaf, but I did inspect that I can see that Ghost was exchanged for that. So it's not a crazy trade. Gnar needs to keep alive. And, you know, Gnar was expecting some pickaxes, went Doran's shield to start. So, yeah, he's not scared of a few axes. And I mean, you know, the fact that he's flashless now may open doors, but looking at the pathing, I think, you know, Mind Blue definitely have the jungler bot side for now. So a little bit of a chill time top at least. And the farm will be exchanged freely, with no murder yet.
He's living his best life, at least for now, and we'll find out exactly who will be the first blood in a moment or two. As down in the bot side, it's probably looking like a lot of safety coming out from MB's end on the red side. It's so very important that this Seraphine does have what it takes in order to, you know, just follow through with the farm, as the scatter of the week in the mid lane does miss onto Sugara's Orianna. Now Sugara is looking for a bit of a nice trade onto the Syndra indeed, as the junglers are finishing their second clear. They are very close to that level 6. Now, the Teva doesn't quite get the root. However, the next Scuttle Crab will give either the Viego or the Diana the level 6. And there's that gank. The Viego is showing himself in the mid lane. A flash has been forced by the looks of it, but the Spectator is focusing down onto the bot lane. Unbreakable shield just to help out this Seraphine with a piercing arrow right through the two of them.
Ooh, I mean, I want my Seraphine a bit healthier, TP in the lane, so they kind of, I know, they're not going to lose much from this. But again, the Braum, I feel, is more for the out-of-lane impact. Because, yeah, okay, Braum will keep Seraphine alive in lane if, Varus does hit the odd piercing arrow here and there. But, I mean, I think team fight-wise, that's where Braum's going to shine, especially with the Olav marking people up and the Viego. The 4 auto attacks are going to be so quick. So, yeah, I think the game plan is for sure survive the lane phase with a minimal damage on Seraphine. But on the flip side, Braum Q can apply a slow, which means that Seraphine E stuns. So the lockdown's pretty brutal. If Varus misplays, even with cleanse, I think he dies through it.
Most certainly. Now, Diana's just around the corner, and I think the Viego has been able to spot her, and vice versa. The Diana will spot the Viego with this scrying orb just flying across the entire river. Now, of course, with the Mega Gnar, he's a little bit safer, and he knows the presence of the Diana is around the corner, despite not having a flash. I mean, I guess Olaf also doesn't have his ghost, so he's not feeling very vicious at this point in the game.
Nah, I mean, no one's going to kill Gnar with the Boots Rush. I mean, Viego and Olaf trying to chase down a Gnar with kite out potential. It's going to be a nightmare job. I mean, I think he could definitely get in range eventually, but I mean, Gnar's going to space really well. And he's trying his best to, at least. But yeah, it's a tricky one. I think Diana's going to have first dibs on the top gank, I think, if the lane goes away, I think. But we'll have to see. Olaf's playing the wave deep. Gnar constantly shoving with Qs, so he's always safe. So there may not be windows to punish that.
He's going to have to, and he's doing quite well, right? He's doing quite well. He's just in between those mini and Mega Gnar transformations, so important in order to get those on point, as a piercing arrow is just being charged across this entire terrain, hiding away the potential threat around the corner, and it will hit the market, but the market, I guess if anybody's looking for a bow and arrow, that's now on the market, ladies and gentlemen. With that said, still yet to find our first kill, the Ragnarok is going to be casted just to deny the Gnar into the wall there, and that's all it's going to be in the top lane. A trade of ultimates, but a dragon, and the first objective picked up by none other but MB.
I definitely thought Mind Blue would have struggled for this first Drake, given how powerful the abilities are for them. You've got Diana 6, Syndra, one shot. But it was that flash taken mid, Orianna just getting prio, and Kirai just not having the courage to really fix that wave state and play for the Drake. It would have put him in a very vulnerable spot. So well played. They've definitely utilized that summoner lead.
They have to. And I do want to absolutely give it to everybody involved. 10 players, so very close to the edge of potentially getting a gank here, flashing in for that kill there. But everybody is patient. Nobody wants to be coin flipping at this point in the game, because these are best of ones. You don't want to have the entire game be over by the time it's 8 minutes into the game. So instead, they want to look for those strategy and capitalized strategy sort of vital points around this game. And there will be some trading going on when it comes to the objectives themselves, as 3 Void Grubs are being picked up by the Diana. Moro Icardi is going to be grabbing that for the rest of the team on She.
Man, I mean, it's a good play. The objective trade means that, Soul's Heart have pulled back a little bit of a disaster first Drake. But again, it's all flaring up.
Oh, yes, it is indeed. And gonna just have, once again, a trade of 1 ultimate, as Ragnarok has apparently seen the light of day twice, but neither of the times will it take anybody into the darkness of the night. Nobody goes down, and it will still yet to be figured out. Who picks up? By the way, the 400 gold is back on the menu, right? So everybody's itching for it at this point.
Man, this is such a passive game, and I mean, there have been acts of aggression. Don't get me wrong; objectives are being taken, but both teams just refusing to concede that first kill, which is, it's going to be it's going to be a little push in the right direction this season. Bring it back the value of first blood, which I kind of like and hate. Solar Q, let's not talk about that. But it's coming. I'm certain it's coming, and we may see it.
Yeah, maybe.
If,
Oh, no, never mind. Saradan
Oh.
is thinking twice about picking up that Ux, especially with so many. What does Nar even throw? A bone? Take a bone in your face, pick a tooth with it or one. It probably is the right size. But, and I bet an Olaf, like a Viking, right? He's seen a few bones in his day, but these ones might be the last ones he's ever gonna come across. He's getting so low, and that 3-proc passive is it's doing quite a bit of damage right now.
And on hit passives on League of Legends, you hate to see it if you're Olaf. But again, Nar's done a great job of pushing him back as far as he has. Olaf, of course, getting bullied by the boots too on Nar, getting out walked, I suppose. Even with the pickaxes to counter back, I mean, Nar's just got that mobility poking him out. And he's on the tower. I mean, if I'm Soul's Heart, I'm trying to get a dive on this because this looks really tasty and he would lose lots, but it looks as though they are playing bot side currently.
Yes, and obviously the two junglers, they are yet to really clash fates in any single scenario, and so far, good for them, because if I was a jungler, I'd just keep focusing on these objectives, letting my team just carry me all the way through to this mid-game. But there's that lane gank coming out from none other but the Diana, and the Diana is going to be able to hit a few more auto attacks with the rest of the team onto this bot lane tower, and therefore picking up a few more plates. But that's all that they will really write about in the books of this exchange. It's just going to be a pickup of a few more gold in the hands on the MB side. Hold on a minute. MB now on the Orianna. Very aggressive Orianna shockwave, but not enough damage to finish it off. And Syndra walks out alive.
Yeah, I think Soul's Heart, slight misplay bot lane there. Usually with a lane gank, you can bait the enemies into a fight and then the jungler can sweep through and get a kill. But, we know the Seraphine and Braum are playing super passive, they're hugging tower. I don't actually think that Mara is going to connect that gank at any point. So, I mean, definitely sacrificing blue buff for that gank, it definitely doesn't pay off. So, really well played from the Viego to snatch that buff away. It was really well played.
Most certainly, absolutely. Oh, hold on a minute. Where did my... Oh, okay, that's great. No, never mind. There it is. The dragon is spawning on the rift, and we are now looking for a second objective in this game. I think I'm actually watching the YouTube on my Discord, and that makes a lot of sense. I'm trying to find this entire time. I'm looking for my Discord on my computer, and it's the cleanse being used and a dragon being secured, and it's being used on the Discord. I might have to just quickly switcheroo on that one. Let's do that right now, as not much is happening on that end. But okay, it's very important that, of course, these dragons are now being traded either side, and the game is yet to pick up on one end rather than the other.
Man, I mean, they're getting ahead. 2 objectives to 1 to Soul's Heart. But again, this game is so passive. And I think this is what's going to happen when it comes to the mid-late. The comps are going to come out. And I'm curious if going even will be enough for the Olaf to put the pressure on that he needs to put on. I mean, the Viego's definitely going to be there. The Orianna is going to help as well. It looks as though, mid lane is a little bit ahead.
Yeah.
Gara doing a great job there. But I mean, yeah, it's... Poke comp could come out ahead here if they don't get a lead on their punchy all in.
They're gonna have to, right? They're gonna have to, and I'm sensing something. Viego's around the corner. This is the first time we've seen Diana and Viego in such close proximity for quite a while. But as soon as I thought maybe we do at this point, they're just going to go back to their jungles, and again, nobody wants to be coin flipping this one. And I will say that at some point, somebody will lose. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to put my money on it, if anything. That's a prediction, by the way. Somebody will lose. And that's how this game will go. Somebody will win as well. Who that will be will have to honestly be entirely down to how aggressive you feel like at some point, because it's so important you start committing into punishing mistakes. Once you find one at least, you need to then just take over. We got a TP coming through into the top lane to match this Olaf push, who, by the way, does not have that TP as of yet, still stacking his champion quest.
Yeah, I mean, Nah TP down means he doesn't have that TP advantage, so he won't be able to roam. So, I mean, yeah, again, top just locked in that stalemate. You know, both junglers being super reserved. I don't think I've seen a flash from either jungler, to be honest, but they may have to start flashing. This does look like a spicy contest. I hope this could be first blood. It's got to be.
We got a encore on Seraphine. It looks like none other but the Seraphine's going to beat them to the punch. He doesn't want to wait any longer. Mega Nah does come up at the perfect time, but now Mini Nah is down, and therefore there might be a Grey Scutter of the week into the background. TP coming through. The Olaf, who's got now, here's none other but the Viego, steals the Herald, and that's a Orianna Shockwave now making a few, flashing away from it. Ragnarok just got to run through town. He hits the axe onto the second. Karma goes down as well. That's a double kill. So far, winning this team fight. Huge amount of pressure from the side of none other but Mind Blue Esports have found the targets.
Oh man, Sardoran was waiting, 15 minutes for that all-in, and he did exactly what I thought. No one can stop him. The Karma was like, somebody help me with this. There's no one coming to help. If he's got Ragnarok on, Syndra and you either have flash or you're dead. That is just how it's going to be. But a super nice team fight and a really troubling start as well. You know, AJ dying in the bot lane too, Toracle, means that, you know, the caster AD carry has essentially caught out the more mechanically hyper carry AD carry. So it's going to hurt loads.
It definitely will. Now the flash over the wall, but the heart is breaker or stealer. I always forget actually which one it might be. Stolen a heart and broken it at the same time, as Nah is now sent back to base, and they've picked it up. 29,000 gold now, just a little bit more than the side of Soul's Heart themselves, and their hearts have definitely been stolen at this point because they need to recoup. They need to find their own picks. They are falling behind ever so slightly, and it just happened at a blink of an eye. It just instantly, with that Herald play, and even down in the bot lane, Toracle finding that solo outplay, 1v1 onto the Varus Ajuxi.
Man, you know, this is exactly what Soul's Heart didn't want to happen. The kills are on the wrong enemies. You know, you've got the Olaf completing Stride Breaker for the AoE slow. He's going to just walk into the middle of everyone and start chopping away. You know, you got Viego fully completed his Trinity now into the Mercs as well. So he's got fantastic mobility to help. It's a real pickle for Soul's Heart. They need to get these objective controls super early so that they can actually take a nice chunk off either frontline engage. Otherwise, MB are going to just storm the game.
Yep, no, definitely. Now, they are recouping. Nice little backup from the Braum because that was going to hurt. That unleashed power was definitely going to be unleashing onto a certain Seraphine who's only at 20% HP. Viego around the corner, and therefore the Braum may just be able to help him out to take out that Scuttle Crab. I hope he secured that. He gave so much oomph into that one. Imagine if just a sphere out of nowhere just stole that one. And it did. There's no way they just took the sphere. Oh no. Okay, well, that's the saddest prediction I've ever done in my life. And with that, the dragon is still gonna be controlled. Doesn't look like there's any contesting around the corner. That's 2 dragons now secured up in the top side. Seraphine is trying to trade into the Nah. Now, I don't know who really... well, I definitely will tell you who wins a 2-level advantage matchup. That's definitely going to be the good old prehistorical good old guy, the Nah. He's finding himself the tower in the top lane in the meantime.
I'm terrified, man. I mean, Soul's Heart have conceded that Drake with no effort whatsoever. They still had summoners up on everyone apart from Karma and Nah. They could have definitely, you know, postured for that or at least thought about it. This is a composition that Mind Blue want to run to late game. Olaf will get to a point where he is just going to use Ghost and kill everything. They don't mind this exchange of time. Soul's Heart needs to think about that because this poke comp, yeah, okay, Varus is lethal mid-late. But in a game of 5v5, this isn't solo queue. People are caught way less. The team fight will definitely go to the side of Mind Blue if they don't get some gold back before that comes around. Oh, man. Oh, it does break the Ragnarok, actually. Lucky, lucky. I thought he was a goner. I did think he was a goner there. Huge engage. Oh, what an ult. Oh, man. Oh, man. What a great engage there. I mean, Viego setting things up with the kill lead, 6-0. This is the type of fever dream you get in solo queue when you see this type of thing popping off. But I mean, yeah, that is a terrifying Viego right now. Seraphine ultimate, beautiful, over 2. Toracle, no stranger to some good lineups there. And Soul's Heart crumbling, man. This is a BO1. They need to squeeze some effort in. But I mean, I was like, I don't think I'll sprinkle something on top, yeah, man. It's all good, man.
No,
but yeah,
I'm looking at the chat. WCast, thank you guys. And I'm muted. No way. I was like, oh, great. Thank you, Zeph. Thank you, Stina. Absolutely smashing it. Hold on. Okay, they're being sarcastic. That makes sense. Let me tell you, I screamed my heart out. That was a great quadra kill that nobody ever got to hear. That just went into none other but into the sky, the mind blue of it all. Now, we've got down in the bot lane, none other but Mind Blue getting a pick, looking for a shockwave, and a lot of damage coming out from the ball into the face of the Gnar. Now, Karma is in trouble yet again. It looks like a situation that we just witnessed and we didn't hear, at least not from the casting end, but down in the bot lane instead. That's a That's a very rageful Ragnarok. Do we have a flash over the wall? No. Yes. Nope. But hold on. From the one Olaf who's found the kill onto the Syndra, picking up that like nothing can stop him. And this tower will definitely not be able to do their job. He's going to take it out as well. Just looking for a disengage. In the end, he gets out fine.
I mean, Soul's Heart at this point, I think they're hoping for a 5-man DC. But I mean, I don't know. Listen. Can a Pokemon pull this gap back? Potentially, but they're not showing that aggression. They're not showing that early objective control. This looks like a little bit of a spicy play. This could be something. They need something here. Nar's got to bring it home.
Okay, I don't know what's happening in this game, but right now I see a Gnar walking right into an Encore. That's a 2-man Encore, therefore they're going to be able to disengage beautifully. A TP into the background. That's a Scatter of the Week waiting in its prey, looking for a Hunter of the amazing amount of damage, as that's already a Seraphine gone, and now the Olaf will follow through. Most certainly once the house hits him, there's that boulder onto the Gnar. The rest of the team do find it. I've seen games so far, only in Season 16, where there's 0 kills on one side for way longer than I ever could have imagined. And so far, that's only ever happened in a cast in Season 16. This season is definitely an interesting one thus far.
Man, it's such a quick-fire season. I personally love it. A lot of people I know hate it. But yeah, at last, we see the Fangs. Soul Heart have something. You know, that pick was great. Good aggressive TP from Gnar. You know, he didn't even charge the rage bar. Just went in with nothing and just said, send it. And they do catch Mind on the way out. They do get a kill. 2 shutdowns over. That's the goal injection they need. Is that going to be enough? I mean, I'm no expert on, you know, whether or not they can pull it back. But, I mean, it's going to be a tough one for sure.
It's going to have to be a tough one, because that's the only time you ever deserve anything in life. And especially in this game. They're going to have to work absolutely their biggest amount of planned strategy up until this point as a team. And maybe perhaps the top side is looking generous right now. They will be missing out on a dragon for this play. Now, Olaf doesn't want to play around the unknown for too long up until the rest of the team does join for this play, and therefore that tower would be standing strong. But I can't say the same for, of course, the dragon being taken out in the bot lane, and of course the Orianna now shoving in another wave.
Man, it just Soul's Heart decide to trade Drake for top tower, but you know, Mind Blue have processed that. They've sent enough to defend top. They sent Orianna bot and Viego to Drake. These guys are ahead in every area right now. Soul's Heart got to think hard about this. They need objectives early. They need this poke comp to poke. If they meet these guys eye to eye in Fog of War, 1 meter away, they are going to get smashed. They have to work on getting that vision. But again, every objective, we are seeing Mind Blue just throttling their vision. Olaf taking it back. Seraphine playing up with the Braum. This is a really tricky place to be for Soul's Heart because they need that poke damage before these team fights kick off. And the more traps set by Mind Blue, the harder it gets.
Yeah, no, absolutely, certainly. It's just going to have to somehow put them in a place where they will find mistakes being committed by Mind Blue Esports. Maybe perhaps that's exactly what they're waiting for at this point, because the next objective is about 4 minutes away. If you're counting the Baron, that's 1.5. And I'm sure that definitely Mind Blue are waiting and very patiently setting up all of the vision around this river. They've even advanced further, and because they're so far ahead, and is so far behind in his own lane, he might just be punished. There's that stun coming through. He's looking for the Mega Nut, but I don't think he even gets the chance to proc that one out, and he goes down. A beautiful punish. Now with the Baron just around the corner, they're just going to be setting up even more vision.
I mean, that's the brutal reality. They know Nars alone. They've got every way to Nar warded, so they can just easily push through and punish. I mean, Soul's Heart, they're bleeding out resources here. They're all grouped up. They're hoping for a gap. But again, there's so much vision on the side of Mind Blue that I don't think there's literally too much vision to make a mistake. It's like playing battleships, but you can see the other half. They always know where they are. They've literally got the entire game on cam. It's going to be a Baron, I think.
It will be. It must be. And without any single tower standing outside of this base, the minions are pouring in. This is a disaster so far. There's only 2 kills on board, and that's in the hands of the Nart and the Diana. And even with that, they're looking at a 8-kill Viego on the other side of the spectrum. And then Olaf, who we've discussed so much in this early game, who is just now going to scale out of control, and it's going to be so hard to do anything about it. They're just going to have to clear out some waves in these lanes. Realistically, that's what they need to prioritize on. That's what they need to push out as much as they can, but not walking into none of it but the river that Karma's already done. And the Glacial Fisher may be slowing down a little bit here as the Mega Nard just around the corner. Gonna be engaged on by the Olaf. Just axe into the face. If that wasn't enough, the Viego was gonna get that Diana Q off as well. The Olaf is gonna go down. He's gonna be chased into the oblivion. The Baron hasn't even been controlled yet as the Winter Bite into the face of the Aced. Shockwave coming out in the end. It was just a bit of a disaster from the get-go, and with that beautiful trap awaiting them on that river play, they can now just storm into the base without anybody to stop them.
Man, a clinical gameplay from Mind Blue. They used the comp. They played it perfectly. Soul's Heart went for a poke comp, but never got in a position to poke. Disaster for their draft, honestly. But again, Mind Blue, they played for the Olaf front line. They got the Olaf front line. And, well, the rest is history. The Nexus has popped. And, I mean, we mentioned earlier that their comp just looked a little bit more uniformed with that all-in, the Viego, the Braum. But, I mean, I didn't think Viego or Braum even got a chance to get a lick in. Olaf was just so huge, man.
It was just so important to get it right from the get-go. They were waiting perhaps a little bit too long. Maybe it was Mind Blue's entire strat to just wait for as long as you can and ensure that nobody will be around the corner to do anything about it. And they've just let them walk into the beast's mouth, and they overtook the entire game. There's nothing that you could really do from a perspective where none of it was really going your way, and it just got dismantled. It really did. At the end of the day, you need to look for those proactive plays at the beginning of the game. If you're not going to, then eventually you're just waiting for somebody else to do that for you. And that Herald play at the beginning of the game was where it just absolutely just fell apart. And from that point onwards, it was hard to come back into this one.
Yeah, that was a split map disaster. And I mean, Varus using cleanse before supports roamed and still getting 1v1 by Seraphine. I think every lane for Mind Blue had bags of confidence this game. I mean, Olaf, playing into the Gnar. It's a tricky matchup for Olaf, but again, we saw how that would damage the comp later on. But again, Orianna farmed superbly into Syndra. It could be a tricky matchup. I'd argue Diana's got an easier gank than Viego. We didn't see any ganks connected mid. Both mids as well. As without Flash, Syndra dies. Without Flash, Orianna's gankable. So, yeah, I mean, it was just it was a dominant show. And I mean, I think the issue that Souls had was that Mind had a fantastic later game comp, and they just didn't get ahead with the poke comp. And we just saw Mind Blue just saying, who's going to check this brush? And none of Soul's Heart was like, oh, you go first. And if they got to the brush, then all of us like, hey, guys, you're all going to die. It's like, what's happening?
And poor Karma, her job is literally to do that, right? She is supposed to go in there and drop that ward, but hoping that nobody's going to... There's going to be just one guy. There's just a Braum there, guys. There's just a Braum there. I'm sure of it. I'm going to just get a winter bite in my face. Never mind. The entirety of the red side Wrath has followed through with it. Mind Blue couldn't stop at that. They got an ace with that shockwave in the end onto the Gnar on the other side of the map, apparently, after all of that. And then they finished it off right where it hurts the most. The Nexus got what it deserved, apparently. And at that point, we are now looking at one game up for Mind Blue. Soul's Heart, they're going to need to find their way into this one, of course. Once we see them again, I'm sure they're going to have another way to tackle this best of one series. 4 games today, everybody. That was the first one out of the 4. We're going to put ourselves in a short break because I need to figure out what is happening with
Deep breaths,
my
mate.
overlay.
You're doing it.
Woo! Okay, we'll see you in a minute. Please, in a moment, we'll find out exactly as to who will be finding themselves on the Rift. So, stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gents. We're back this time around just on time as the draft is literally right now getting started. Already the bands are on their way and locked in, and therefore she with the that's wrong. we'll get the team sorted up at the top real quick. MCOM is on the blue side. MCON Academy versus none other but Red Out is doing the red side here.
We're just testing the viewers. Well observed, guys. Yeah, the team names are temporarily wrong, but MCON is blue, Red Quad is on red. And yeah, I suppose they are doing some Banzer picks. It's early doors, but 80 carry first pick. I mean, pretty typical stuff. We did see a failed poke comp game 1, so hopefully, MCOM can cook if they do get the poke comp engaged. But I mean, bans coming out, tankier picks from Red, which is interesting to say the least. More bruisers being banned out by MCON, so I don't know. Maybe looking for a tankier side on the side of MCON, getting rid of the Umbessa. Maybe a Gwen ban coming out. Who knows? But early doors. 80 carries only in the minute.
Indeed. Okay, heavy on that one. Ezreal, of course, with the pick into the Aphelios. Aphelios and Azir. That's such a disgusting amount of damage in these team fights. Is going to be brutal if we reach that mid to late game Aphelios stage. Azir is always going to be very happy just shoving into the Moonlight Vigil from the Aphelios. That's going to be wombo combos on combos there. Karma's getting locked in. Well, it's quite nicely with the Ezreal, of course. Just gives him extra bit of time to recoup between his arcane shifts, I guess, with those barriers, and to stack and reset away at those. Syndra, just to make things a little bit spicier and a little bit more safe at the same time.
Man, it's going to be like swatting flies. Karma Ezreal, so much move speed in that lane. But I mean, he's got about 7 guns. I mean, Aphelios could shoot enough to kill them both, but a really hypermobile bot lane is good. They've got that in and out strategy. And of course, Syndra being picked is okay into Azir. With every Shurima shuffle, you have that forward push, which can be interrupted by Syndra E. So, I mean, if, they know the matchup, that could be a big issue. Xin will help with that Shurima shuffle big time because Syndra's going to have a lot more to peel. But yeah, it's an interesting one so far. MCON definitely playing for more of a different comp for sure.
Yeah, and it's quite squishy so far on both sides. But it's very difficult for me to imagine how quickly MCMA MCON Academy will be just removed from the surface of the earth or Summoner's Rift if this Aphelios hits his full combo. That needs to be stopped. That needs to be dealt with as soon as possible in this next pick stage, because thus far it's looking a bit scary. Of course, we've got some nice disengage as well, but the Xin Zhao Crescent Guard might just be a decent amount of with the ultimate on the Xin Zhao, I mean, just to delay any sort of damage that will be coming through, especially from the Syndra thus far. Getting rid of some of those tanks, some of those supports, as we're yet to see any support being picked up on the red out end.
I mean, definitely RO looking to enable the Aphelios, and MCON definitely sensed that, banning out 2 of pretty useful supports. Thresh making super use of Lantern, especially because Aphelios has no self-peel outside of his flash. Lulu as well, a great tool to keep them alive. But they've opted for a more aggressive support, which could really work. But playing
Yep.
Nautilus into a Karma Ezreal is tricky because of the mobility. Plus, you can get caught out quite quick.
And I guess it's due to the fact that you've got the Ezreal who oftentimes is left alone, and the Karma maybe around and trying to match this Nautilus around the map. The Wukong is something that will be locked in the end just to match this Xin as well. However, of course, with the amount of farming that is involved for this Wukong in the early game, he's going to have to be very quick to hit that level 6. We know that in Season 16, the entire game has sped up exponentially due to the fact that so many of these minions and camps in the jungle are spawning so much sooner, and therefore Wukong does have a better time to get that level 6 with just those 2 clears around the jungle, and that's where he really gets unlocked, especially without the amount of CC that he can be backed up in these lanes. I'm looking at the bot lane, the Karma, the Tether. It does eventually give you that root, but is it enough for a Wukong gank, especially into the face of a Nautilus, who I'm pretty sure is going to make a much, much better gank out of it with a Xin by his side? And there's that Rumble.
Okay, I mean, I didn't expect that from RO. They've got a lot of buttons for the all-in on MCon. I mean, they've got the Wukong that wants to dive in. Xin might get tackled away by K'Sante ult. Syndra can follow through. Karma can follow through. Ezreal can follow through. It's a bold pick. I mean, if the Rumble can create the space he needs to create, then of course Aphelios is going to do fantastic. But we've definitely got the hard engage on the side of MCon. RO are definitely playing a bit more of a... They've got the hard engage with Xin, but I don't think he's going to out-engage K'Sante and Wukong. So yeah, they're going to have to play this super clean to get the effect that they desire. But again, Nautilus hooks, anything can happen with that. But yeah, both teams have got tools to ruin the hard engage for the other team. So yeah, this is good. This is a good draft. I like this draft a lot, 100%.
Yeah, so I really like Red Watt's draft and their sort of what they've drafted. Yeah, it's aggressive, it finds its pick, and if you're in a team fight and the MCMA squad is going to be stacked on top of one another, they are deleted, they're gone, and it just complements one another so beautifully. And even in a scenario where you're trying to stop all of that damage, because it's a Rumble, it's an Aphelios, just, tackle them, get that flank on them, make sure that they don't have the priority in these team fights. There's a Nautilus, there's a Xin who could just crescent you guard across the entire lane or team fight, and you're not going to get into that target position that you're looking for. It's very good, but at the same time, Con Academy on the blue side, they do have some survivability. They, of course, have drafted that arcane shifting Ezreal and the Karma just to give everybody that shield that they need. Good control mage for that Syndra. It really does depend, I think, for the most part, how these junglers will play the early game here. Which lanes will they snowball out of control? Because both sides have very strong picks.
I mean, I think top side would be difficult to connect a gank on K'Sante, but I mean, I think the way in for red might actually be through mid, given that if they burn the Syndra flash, Azir at 6 can easily fling that Syndra back in for a pick. I don't think Zin's going to have much luck bot lane, but again, Nautilus has got that tie down with the ult, with the hook. That's a big anchor as well. So, I mean, I think we're going to see roaming supports and we're going to see jungle action around the mids. That's my prediction, at least, because I don't think Aphelios or Ezreal are going to have that courage to take aggression in lane unless the jungler's there, or for the side of red, a good hook by Nautilus. But, Nautilus is a bit of a trap champion because, you always see the engage, you never really see the consequence. It's kind of like a reckless blitzcrank. So I've done it myself. I've been solo queue. I've gone, that's the guy I need the hook. I throw the hook because I can see the hook, but then I'm instantly one shot and I throw the game because it's a bad hook, right? So yeah, Nautilus is a pick that, whilst it looks easy and his abilities are really easy to pull off, it's hard to execute well because you kind of get mind controlled into thinking a hook is good, which is quite bad, especially in a game where the composition counter engage is brutal, like Wukong and Syndra.
Most certainly. So that's the draft, that's the two teams, and right now this is the second team and second two lots of teams that we'll be seeing fighting against each other. The previous round was all about Mind Blue Esports versus Soul's Heart Esports. That's over. That was a best of one. And of course, Mind Blue Esports were able to grab their first win in the closed qualifiers series today. Now, MCon Academy on the blue side and Red Watt on the red side are the teams that we are witnessing in front of us. And this is once again a best of one. And therefore, no fearless or anything of the sort. It's all about the one draft, the one game, and the one opportunity, and I'm not even quoting Eminem here, to get yourselves into this game. My client is once again not wanting me to watch anything today, and therefore I will be spectating with no sound. I'm so sorry, guys. It just doesn't look like to be the day for us right now. But that's okay. We'll definitely be able to spectate this game from the perspective of the other casters who are just slightly behind us. I think there's a delay on the YouTube, so we'll get there in a moment or two. Mom Spaghetti is all over the Riot's client right now, 3-0. It's not fun to be on a Wednesday trying to cast anything, but I think it's just me though, so it's an unfortunate one, I will say.
It's a skill issue, man. Skill issue. Nah,
Definitely.
Riot client, man. You hate to see it. It picks and chooses. You know what I'm saying? I left the game the other day. Client just literally wouldn't reconnect me. I did get back in before the lever buster, thank God. But yeah, it's look, we all love Riot games, but update the client, boys. Yeah, give us a 2026 client, guys. I know it's coming out next year, but.
Yes,
yeah. Is it this year or next year?
I think it's going to be next year, to be honest. That's a great point. Nothing will ever go wrong. Nothing will ever, surely.
Touch wood, you know.
Nothing will ever go wrong. It's I can't wait for that client, but this is what I'm looking at right now. Just in case, you know, it's a bit of an unfortunate one. It just doesn't seem to be reconnecting, and it's done it last game as well, and therefore I cannot spectate from my end, and we will be watching the boys from the side of the official French Benelux Ascent series end. And with that, of course, no sound to the game. It's just gonna be unfazed and moi having the best times of our lives.
There's no just us, guys. You are blessed to be in our company. We've got it covered. Don't worry about it. Yeah, we'll talk. Well, you may have to send me that desktop background, by the way. That looks quite chill, mate. I may need that after a solo queue.
Which one? That might be just like a Windows one. Ooh, but look at those Mystic shots. However, they're hitting, they're connecting, and Candy is definitely making sure there's plenty of sugar coming, none other but the Aphelios's way right now, because he is begging for some space. Give him some space. Let him breathe down in that bot lane, as a level 2 advantage into both of these mid lane control mages is coming through strong.
Man, I mean, a pretty typical start. You know, if you don't get the wave, it's a level 2 first. You are forced under tower, but they will have a crashed wave. So, I mean, I don't think Aphelios is going to lose too many creeps here. But again, it does look quite scary, given that Ezreal did connect a few poke abilities on the way. And I definitely think Karma helped with that as well. But yeah, I mean, strong start. Looks like an instant reset. Could be a tier for Ezreal off the bat. But yeah, it's a good start. That's pretty much what they'd expect. I think dying level 1 or 2 against the Nautilus would spell disaster.
A lot of
for the
damage
team,
from the flamethrower, trying to trade a little bit with the Katofu strikes from the K-Sante as well. He does have the third strike. He does get it, and the shield is going to deny a lot of it, but the W is going to make sure that there's a little bit of damage mitigation, but so much to a point where the K-Sante is now, of course, breathing a little bit heavier and asking for his own space up in the top side. So maybe perhaps somebody got it in the end, and I can't say it was this K-Sante. Aphelios is now looking a little bit healthier, of course, with the waves shoving into the tower. We see the Wukong and the Zinzao going for a bit of an alternative start to their jungles, and therefore grabbing the Scuttle Crabs either end.
I think K-Santa needed to start with Bucket of Water instead of Thor's Shield. Looks like he is taking a lot of that flamethrower damage, but yeah, nothing happening top, fortunately.
Yeah, he's healing up. He's fine, guys. He's fine. He's got the
He'll
Doran
live.
shield. He'll be all right. He maybe even get a bucket drenched all over the very, very hot spitting fire gun in the end, and that will be just enough to keep him going for the time being. There was a risk of a gank, of course, Zinzao just around the corner, but it doesn't look like that's going to follow through in the end, and therefore it's all about this bit of a roam coming out from these supports either side. But look at how they're matching one another. They're both trying to be on the other side of this fog of war. There's that flash onto a flash. Dredgeline doesn't quite connect Karma around the corner just in case it did. I mean, they definitely have put themselves on the wrong voice comms. I feel like the supports are just talking to one another at this point.
Man, it's a really good point. I mean, right now, though, Hub is faced with a pretty tricky situation. He did manage to break the freeze. I thought Rumble could have frozen him out there, but he did have Wukong to help. But yeah, I think the supports moving around is going to be pretty typical, right? Because both AD carries aren't going to be looking for that all-in. I think they're going to be quite passive in the lanes. Aphelios just wants to get to, mid-late game, and Ezreal doesn't really have Mystic Shot, one-shot potential early game. So yeah, I think opportunities will be thrown around the map, and they need that. They definitely need the junglers to get ahead.
They do. They definitely do. And shoving in this wave into the Aphelios, the Nautilus, is the best thing that the Ezreal and Karma can do, because, of course, Nautilus is then going to have a less better of a time to, hitting those dredge lines and looking for those picks into the lane. And even if you do, you have to deal with the Arcane Shift, which is just such a nice ability to get out of harm every single time it connects onto the Ezreal in the end. And with the dragon now being picked up and the prio down in the bot lane, I'm pretty sure this will be a very nice and easy pickup for the side of course, MCon Academy here for the time being.
Yeah, the double poke bot lane really giving them windows there. The Nautilus can't really match that pressure. If he walks up to the wave, he's getting tethered by Karma. He's getting enhanced. He's getting Qs from both of them, and it's not going to be a pretty picture. So yeah, really well played. They've used their leads really wisely. And yeah, it does see the first Drake.
It does indeed. Now, that's only 2 minutes and 15 seconds away from the next objective, I guess. So that actually gives a lot of time for the Wukong to reposition, as a lot of damage is coming through with the all-out case. Sante is going to flash right out, as the Rumble was not willing to deal with any of that, but so is the case Sante. That's a trade for flash in the end. But hold on, there's an equalizer available. He could just take him out with a single ability casted. There's no flash. There's a ghost. He's going to be a very fast Sante, but not fast enough. There's that first blood coming through for Dismas on the Zinzao.
Man, really well played by the Rumble. The K'Sante was
a nice gank from the Wukong, but he's still level 5. He's not quite matching it. That doesn't matter, as Kamikaze does go down on this Nautilus in the end. Ezreal is going to grab himself a kill down in the bot lane, so they will be trading 2 kills either side. For both of these teams, unlike how the first game went, this one is a little bit more tight.
Nice. You know what? I'm not a fan of a runaway game. They happen now and again. We like these close games. We like it when the decisions matter every single team fight. So I mean, no disrespect for teams who have a runaway game. By the way, well played. Yeah, but we love these close games, and I think even though the second kill went to RO, they did lose first blood. I think it went to the better person. I don't think Rumble will use. Oh, sorry. I thought Rumble got it. Xin is actually brilliant. Yeah, Ezreal and Xin, yes. I'd say arguably.
There's the Emperor's Divide onto a dredge line just around the corner. The Buddha on the Syndra is going to be shielded by the Karma just in time before she can go down. And now the rest of the team has arrived, but not enough momentum to get into this engage in the end. They're just going to be shoving out the wave as another dredge line does connect, followed by the Syndra scatter of the week. And it's just going to be a bit of exactly that, scattering away everybody from that mid lane play.
That's what I meant by the Nautilus, man. He saw that hook, and I think Azir was like, yeah, no, not now, pal. And he's just like, wait, I'm in here. But yeah, no, a superb exchange. But again, I thought Rumble had the kill, so forgive me. But I'd argue that Xin needs the gold, Ezreal needs the gold, and Wukong needs the gold. I think they're the 3 really important pieces to the puzzle for both teams. But yeah, this is it.
Heavy on the guns here, as Aphelios has used his Vigil, and it does hit the target. Not enough damage to take him out. Maybe enough damage. A dredge line beautifully used by the Nautilus, just stopping all of that CC. That would have been definitely the end of this Iron Titan. He's not going to be going down anytime soon. Despite his name, he's safe for the time being, but I can't say the same for the Rumble. He has no flash, and into the Cyclone. What a delivery with their K-Sante all out in the end. Looking for the tether, does connect, but there's that engage missing on the scatter of the weak. It's not like it's gonna matter because the Xin Zhao was looking for an engage of his own. He finds the flash, Crescent Guard in the end. Doesn't have the ultimate now. He's gonna have to fight. Nautilus is very low, but so is the K-Sante. They're gonna go down. Syndra and Azir, this is gonna be holding hands at that point because they're not worrying about one another. They're looking for those kills. In the end, they won't be going down, but definitely a very good back and forth team fight. Both teams just about get what they wanted to get out of that one.
Man, I mean, Friendly doing the classic jungler. I'm hitting this grub. Don't fight. And then Karma's getting mullered next to him. But, I mean, yeah, I think Xin getting 3 kills at the end of that exchange is terrifying. You know, MCOM definitely have the gold spread out more with the Wukong getting one, Syndra getting one. So, I mean, you know, we've got pressure now on the Azir to watch himself, especially into that one-shot bill. But, yeah, I mean, I think even though MC, they got the objective, I think RO answered superbly well. And, I mean, you know, took the Wukong flash, aggression is going to be dampened for a while. And I mean, yeah, it's difficult. Nautilus getting chunked out just before the fight as well. So difficult times indeed.
I've seen this before unfazed. I've seen a certain red side jungler, might have been Mind Blue Esports in the last game, that was getting a big amount of gold coming his way on that Viego. This time round, we have none other but Red Watts. Xin Zhao with those 3 kills as a third strike. Zitofu strike is going to do quite a bit of damage so far. Oh, too spooky. He's going to have to run very fast. He's got the flash, but there's another flash. Nope, never mind. Looking for that knock-up. He's not going to get it in the end. Gets out, but at a cost of his own flash. And therefore, the Rumble's going to have to be a little bit more safe. Down in the bot lane, we've got that dredge line onto the depth charge into the back line. Wukong is already disengaging. Topside, Rumble's in trouble. Nice auto attack with the great follow through by the Aphelios. That's a kill. And it looks like we're not quite done yet. Rumble is just on the edge of death, and it won't matter. He's going to just get out of that one, and this team fight in the bot lane will also just scatter away.
Wow, intense stuff. But I mean, Aphelios did break the ice, getting his first kill on the bot lane. Nautilus really being that juicy all-in engage, which has helped them to get over the finish line there. But I mean, Rumble needs a bailout top. Could be looking at losing this entire wave.
Oh no, he wants to take it as much of it as he can, but Hub is very low. He might just lose his life for this because there's that auto attack from Tower. Not enough. He takes himself out with the dash and he takes the kill. Now Karma looking for a very deep ward, but the blast cone is going to be just around the corner for the Xin Zhao because he knows if there's a Karma in his jungle, Sora's a monkey with a cyclone already on his back, looking for a second dash onto that one. Crescent Guard is going to have to be used very much defensively to keep him alive.
Wow. I mean, they definitely did. They wanted those Krugs real bad. I mean, Friendly had plans. Xin will live this time, but I mean, this is all because Ezreal's got enough self-peel to live 2v1. You leave an AD carry against Nautilus, there's only 2 AD carries I can think of that would survive this kind of alone moment, right? But yeah, yes. I mean, they're using the roam windows really well. And again, you know, forcing the Xin Zhao to use ultimate defensively. I mean, it will dampen Red's ability to take a fight moving forward. So yeah, it's really well played. So yeah, they're trading blows. 4-4 on the kills, 1 objective each, just slightly ahead on the grubs for the side of Encon. This is shaping up to be a little juicy game.
It is. It's actually very much even. I love to see it. 1,000 gold apart, which at 12 minutes, it seems quite a majority of a advantage for the side of Red Watt. It's most likely coming from those plates. I am seeing it be, well, a few of those picked up. There was a first blood as well. Now there might be a little bit more blood coming Candy's way, but he's just going to sidestep both. The Moonlight Vigil does connect in the end onto the Ezreal. They're not going to be done for a long time there. As in the top side, we've got a bit of a spicy trade in the end, but down in the bot lane, nobody's going to be going through. There's a 3v3, but nobody wants to pursue onto anything else, and therefore they will be absolutely fine. There are objectives that they need to be worried about instead. That's really when these fights matter, especially when you find yourself in such a close quartered 3 versus 3 down in a bot lane. What are we fighting for? If it's too much to really coin flip in the end, just let yourself live another day and fight for those objectives that really do matter. Or perhaps a little pick from the Nautilus if he finds one.
I mean, you know, MCon, they're giving a lot of aggression through the bot lane, but they're so hard to gank. And Aphelios isn't playing aggressive. Like that last fight, no auto attacks, just threw the ult in from the back. He's built Cull. I don't even think he wants to fight early game, but, you know, they're sending a lot of pressure down there. And I do
there is a
think
lot
Rumble
of pressure up here as well. Unfazed, we're going to have to just maybe pause that thought for a second because I don't know what is cooking on the side of MCon Academy. They are just walking right into the jungle. They're going to be walking out unpunished, and therefore I will bring it right back to you, buddy. And, well, never mind. There's the dredge line onto the depth charge. We got Candy in trouble. Aphelios looking for some damage, but he's going to be just arcane shifted into. Great amount of turnaround from the Ezreal. He finds the Mystic shot, and the mystical beast from the depths is sent onto his own fountain. This will now result in a nice little push, unless the Zinzao is going to make him think twice about it. The tether, nice little flash onto the Crescent Guard, and an interruption going into this Ezreal's push.
Ooh, a brutal all-in by Zin at the end there, locking up the Ezreal with flash and ult while he was airborne. That's a lot of damage. Killing an Ezreal with Karma next to him is fantastic.
He's got his
ult.
Oh,
man. Credit to MCon's bot lane. What a fantastic 2v2. Nautilus using all tools, but again, you know, it's tricky. It always feels like you've got the advantage when the hook hits or when the ult lands, but, you know, there's still loads to be done. Aphelios is not really bad.
He's definitely looking for a kill. Now he's going to have to look the other direction, the one direction that he thought he could get away with. Down in this bot lane, Azir is finding himself with a nice Shurima shuffle into an Emperor's Divide because the rest of the team is around the corner. Now, it's all about that great flash onto none other but the Syndra flashing away from the dredge line in the end. So it's just a Karma that's going to be sacrificed down here in the end, unless this Zinzao is not done and he wants to not to dismiss this entire situation. He wants to go in. Despite that, they will be just taking out the tower instead.
It's nice to know that the mids definitely have flash bound to a key, so we've seen a little bit of action to the mid in that bot lane fight there. Syndra peeling back. But yeah, I mean, they looked for the kill on Azir. They did dance around a bit too long, gave a window for Zin to come through, so looks like we're seeing a tower trade for a Drake here.
Nice. Okay, so that will be a bit of a pickup. The Rumble does take the tower up in the top side and traded by the bot lane. The dragon, like you say, unfazed, of course, does go down in the end as well. So it's just a matter of the lane swap now, where the bot laners will be finding themselves trying to defend these mid lane towers, the only ones that will still be standing quite strong on this rift for the time being, right? The next bit of trouble that we may be seeing is once everybody's had their chance to reset, just spend that gold and pick up these new items. The Blackfire Torch is definitely going to be very difficult to deal with on this 1-0 Syndra thus far. From a distance, she's going to be able to do quite a bit of damage, and there's that distance. She's already hitting those Scatter of the Weeks for the time being. Nobody's punishing her down in the bot lane, which I am surprised with, especially now that that tower's gone, but it doesn't matter. Everybody wants to be maybe just repositioning and, like we said, just resetting onto this map.
I'm really scared for Aro's mid lane. Oh my.
Okay, so that was a bit of a trap from the Azir, I guess, because since I was around the corner, the flash onto a flash from the Azir. True Shot Barrage does not hit the Azir in the end, and therefore their kill will go down for the K-Sante. And down here in this river, their dredge line finds its pick with the Aphelios around the corner. The Zinzao has stuck around for a little bit too long. However, there's a TP around here as well, as the Syndra has found herself in a team fight, but not before the Karma goes down as well. That's actually 3 members just for the 1 in the end. So MCNA have definitely found themselves a bit of a tricky one to put themselves into.
Man, it was a crazy fight, honestly. I mean, Kaysander going for the 2v1 top is it. He actually does have an advantage given that he is a tankier champ, and Rumble didn't get much value out of Ignite in the early game. I mean, I think
Yes.
Kaysander died the tower, right? But I really thought they'd
Yes.
be putting more time top. RO want to enable Rumble so that the solo lane doesn't get really unmanageable. Because if Kaysander perma sieges, no one's going to be able to answer him mid late because Zin needs to be on the team fight. And if Azir answers him, then they've definitely lost the team fight as well. So
Yeah.
it's a little tricky situation, man. They've got to process who the lead needs to go to. They've got time to rectify this, but again, I'm scared. I'm really scared because I mean, when the team fight kicks off, I think Wukong is in. Just going to headbutt. The AD carries are going to headbutt. But right now, I think
Yes.
Rumble will fold to Cassandra. I think he will have the advantage in the team fight. So it's a little scary,
Yeah.
man. I mean, a lot of time
It's
spent on the bot lane.
it's a great pick for the Kaysanté just to deny this Rumble in that lane as much as he can, as we are getting back into the game. I do like what I'm seeing from none other but the Nautilus and the Aphelios, because everybody has moved. Everybody has made sure that they put themselves on different positions around the map, like the bot laners, right? They are now in the mid lane, but Nautilus and Aphelios are pushing not only into the mid lane, they're finding picks around the mid lane as well, right? So that's very important. They're moving as a duo, and with that, it looks like MCon Academy are going to have to somehow trade into this. They're going to have to match that momentum. There it is, Karma with the Ezreal right now, just matching this mid lane pressure from the Aphelios, who has been able to grab all of those tower plates down onto the last one. And there's a couple of remaining on the side of Redwatt.
Man, it's trading blows is the word I'm going to use. Both teams really getting a foot on the game. I mean, I think last time there was a little bit of an overextend by MCon, Kaysander forcing that 2v1, but at the same time,
Always in trouble.
we're seeing proactive plays.
Okay.
Oh.
Good flash. Very good flash. Now, that flash will save you for the time being, too, Spooky. Buddy, you're fine right now. But are you going to be in the next 5 minutes or so? Their time is ticking to your demise, so gotta be careful there.
Yeah, MCon being so proactive with this bottom lane pressure, just freeing up as much space as possible. They do have deep vision at the blue with the Drake just over a minute away. This is pretty much the golden hour for that vision as well. So, RO going to have a really tricky time retaking that vision. They do have Nautilus front line.
Unlucky, buddy. Do you know what?
It's
The
gonna be
minions, I think they've been having a good couple of seasons, to be honest. They've been eating quite well. The hitbox definitely translates into that for the time being. And the Nautilus has found out the worst way. He's not going to be able to connect onto the Ezreal. The Ezreal just walks out. And even if you do, he's got Arcane Shift. Apollo is absolutely fine. With this constant battle in this mid lane, it is going to translate onto eventually one of these two towers going down. But before then, the objectives have decided to grace us on the map again. So important. Who will be able to get that next one? They could be even trading unfazed for a Baron here, potentially.
I think they don't want to give RO the soul.
Dismas does have the Crescent Guard if he gets in too much trouble. Remember, there's no ultimate from Cyclone, from the Wukong. The Cyclone is unavailable, so they just clash fates for the time being.
Wait, it's actually off cooldown. I didn't think Wukong was that low cooldown, by the way.
Oh?
It is back.
Oh, okay, hold on. That's a flash and an arcane shift, but the death charge does connect. You can't flash away from that one. Beautiful amount of Crescent Guard, but it's not going to be enough because the rest of the team equalize onto 3 members. They're going to have to disperse. Good damage coming onto the Karma now. That's just a 1-for-1, both sides. But the jungler going down is the most important here. Remember, nice scutter of the week. Not enough follow-up. This very aggressive push from the side of Redwatt. They're still looking for more as the Kaysander has now joined, but he's just going to be flame thrown down onto the Emperor Shuffle. Beautifully done, as they are now just going to take out the tower in the mid lane, and a very good team fight turned into a disaster in the end. Despite not having the numbers, they had the HP bars.
Man, interesting Emperor's Divide. I mean, Nautilus flash hooking his own Emperor Divide wall, but yeah, RO did it. I can't believe it, really. I thought after Zin died, there would be a bit of a cease of action, but they've done so well to get Kaysander. I mean, Nautilus really, teasing him on the verge of being one shot himself. But again, he manages to retreat. Santa gets punished for that. And again, we're going to see a Drake going to RO. We are one off Soul Point. It's a big fight. They've done so well.
Yeah, and if you think about it, everything was going so well for MCon Academy, right? They've had themselves none other but the first pick onto the Xin Zhao. He went down. They traded their own karma for it. So they found themselves in such a beautiful situation just to then just back away. Don't fight it anymore. That tower, it realistically had a couple of more auto attacks and it was going down anyway. Why sacrifice your entire team and the dragon in the end for that objective? They did, and the dragon then was picked up because Xin Zhao was the first one to go down, and therefore he had a very good reset, unplanned. But Wukong was 10% HP. He couldn't really contest it. And that's a third one. That's a Soul Drake. They're still punishing Spooky down here in this top lane without any contesting. Poor Rumble every single time.
Man, Ezreal 3 items complete, 240 CS with 4 kills.
Line.
We can't
connect.
discount
Ezreal is now very much in trouble. That's a beautiful midnight vigil. Gonna go through the affiliates. Just have a look at him. Untouched. He's gonna be able to do so much damage. But the Nautilus, the front line, maybe perhaps is not enough for the Nautilus to... and there's the... hold on a minute. Is it going to be enough, however? Because I don't think they're going to have what it takes to chase this one down. It's still a K-Sante. Hub is very healthy. And that was a lot of commitment from the Azir. They couldn't quite find it. There's that scatter of the week. Not quite at the right time. In the end, their two carries, Azir and the Aphelios on the side of Red Watt, do escape.
Oh my god, I can't believe Xin went in. I mean, it looked okay, but he does get one shot. And I mean, cast a curse. I compliment Ezreal. He's killed in 3 seconds after that. So sorry, Ezreal, for that.
Okay, no, you know what? We get one and then we're fired. But then again, we're not really employed, so we'll be absolutely fine. Hub is looking for a bit of a front line, but he hasn't got any HP, and that's a very heavy push from Red Watt. They want to deny this Baron, but they could just maintain its HP bar for the time being. Friendly on the Wukong wants to read. This is a disaster. If they keep going like this, they have to commit. Nice true shot barrage. They're relating the Rumble. Actually, very good team fight so far. Apollo's in trouble. Azir's got to chase him down in the backline. But look at the Wukong with a backline of his own. He's looking for the Aphelios. He finds him. Gressing guard on 2. The Syndra. That's the Karma. Never mind. She's going to go down with the Syndra as well. And that's a triple kill. Double and a double. With the side of Red Watt still chasing onto the last remaining member. Make it a triple kill. I did cast a cursor myself in the end, and the Ezreal does go down. What an ace from Red Watt.
Wow, oh my god. Azir just 3 deeps in that entire fight, has completed Rabadon's. Nash is really ramping up, but the scatter the week hits 3. Wukong ultimate hits 3. I mean, was that everything that MC have? They've got to have something else in the bag. Ezreal was caught out on his own there. Azir pretty much chunked him out, so he wasn't able to really use his gold to help that team fight through. Plus the fact that, the Baron dance made everyone a bit low. It was a bit of a crazy fight, but it has really bitten MC for that. I mean, playing for the Baron off the fight top lane with the Xin pick into a reverse sweep Baron is not great news.
It's not. It's really not. And every single time we see MCon fighting, they fight from a very, very low HP threshold on everybody's end. It's as if they want to maintain 2 team fights in a row and they can't. They should have reset before that Baron was even considered. By the time they made that decision, Friendly is making a very bad decision walking into a jungle that does not belong to him. There we go with the spear just going right through. Nautilus is going to grab that one in the end somehow, and it's going to just go down. And that's the very important player, right? So now this is a 4v5. Once again, walking into the same brush, but this time a much tankier. Remember, is this deja vu? There's a blast going available, and he's just going to also go down. He's going to tick to a Nautilus. There's that flamethrower going to meet him into his demise and let him go into nobody's land as 5 members strong will be tackling onto this Baron. It will be traded by a mid lane tower, but that will be a small price to pay, especially now after these 2 team fights and our whole objective to meet them through it.
I mean, we're going to have to check Hub's PayPal after that one, running into the same brush seconds later, but no.
Okay, Apollo, there's no way. He just tries to recall somewhere where he thought he was safe. Syndra, Butter's trying to save him. These are very long death timers, ladies and gents, with the Soul Dragon now uncontested. Khan Academy find themselves in, I want to say, not a bad game, but every single time they try to team fight, they are 2 backs behind. They are 2, I don't know, HP worth of percentage, 50% behind on HP as well. And now Friendly's gonna be deleted. Wow. Going on to Harbke Sante. They are moving like wildfire through this entire base. 1 crop at a time, burning them down and securing themselves this entire field to their liking, to reshape it to what they want it to be. These towers are going to be the only ones remaining in front of them as Apollo gets absolutely deleted by this late game Aphelios. He's going to go down in the end into the tower, but it's an ace after an ace after an ace. 2 towers and a Nexus, and with that, we got ourselves a win coming out from Red. What? On the red side, they picked themselves up their first win of this series.
Man, did anyone blink? Because I'm pretty sure we were contesting for Drake, and then the Nexus popped. What happened, man? Yeah, Red Watt just in a position that, you know, MCon they just fell apart. I honestly think the Baron fight broke the comp. Ezreal backing in blue on his own. He didn't know where the vision was, gets caught. Then the next guy's caught. Then, you know, Ksandra's checking and brushing his own, gets caught. Then Wukong's checking on his own, gets caught. I mean, they needed to take the vision early with Xin with that much gold. They had such a punchy engage. Sundered still OP, in my opinion. Riot fixed that item, by the way. Xin just willing to take every engage. And I mean, you know, I don't blame Ksanta for walking into that brush because, you know, after the jungler's killed, odds on they start Baron, but they knew that they would recheck. They were patient, you know, Red not giving them a second chance. And they were like, no, do you know what? We're not going to do Baron. We're going to do the same trap all over again. And guess what? It's paid. So
it worked.
Just like that. Heck yeah.
Absolutely just worked. And we've seen this in the first game between the other 2 teams, not to be confused with the 2 teams that we've seen right now, because these are just best of ones. There's 4 of them. But this Baron red side trap in that terrain brush, which just partially covers the river and the blue side jungle, constantly just finding its prey. Each time somebody tries to check right into it, they're meeting head on 4 or 5 members into their face and a flamethrower, which, yeah, spoiler alert, it hurts a lot. That's the case that they found out in the end. What we'll do, I want to try something. We've got 2 more games to go of tonight between 4 completely new teams. I will restart my computer because I, for some reason, cannot get into the Riot games. My client is just absolutely spaghetti all night long, and it's not fun for you guys because you can't hear the voice comms, etc. So I'll do that just now. Once I've done that, just refresh the stream in about 3 minutes time. I won't be longer than that. I will be right back. See you guys in a bit.